The airports are still open, but the planes sit idle. The beachside boardwalks are empty, and despite hotel prices dropping, the rooms remain dark. Something significant is cracking beneath the surface, and it's not just the economy, it's the lifeblood of entire states: tourism. Once a golden engine of growth, it is now seizing up. One by one, iconic destinations are going silent, not due to disaster, but from neglect, policy, and something far more unsettling. People have simply stopped coming. Which states are already unraveling, and which ones could be next? Stay close, because these 10 places are not just losing tourists, they are losing time. Number 10, Nevada. Nevada's casinos are still lit up, but the crowds are thinner than they have been in years. Hotel suites sit untouched, and buffets, once overflowing, now run half-empty or have shut down completely. Something is shifting in Nevada, and it's not just bad luck at the tables. Las Vegas, the heart of the state's economy, just saw one of its sharpest tourism drops in over a decade. Strip visitation is down more than 6%, and gaming revenue is falling. Here's where it gets alarming. Nevada is one of the most tourism-dependent states in the entire country. When tourists stop flying in, everything slows down. Number 9, California. California, with its golden sunsets, iconic highways, and blockbuster dreams, is experiencing a brewing storm behind its postcard-perfect image. One of the world's most visited destinations, it is starting to slip, and not quietly. International travel is drying up, especially from Canada, its second-largest market. Entire cities that once thrived on tourism, like San Francisco, Anaheim, and parts of Los Angeles, are reporting fewer visitors, declining hotel revenue, and rising vacancy signs. The numbers are real. Even with over $157 billion in tourism spending last year, 2025 is showing the first signs of a true pullback. Number 8, Florida. Palm trees still sway, and theme parks still sparkle, but behind the sunshine, something has gone quiet. Florida, a titan of American tourism, is suddenly on unstable ground. The state depends heavily on international visitors, especially from Canada, but in 2025, those travelers simply stopped coming. Here's the reality. Flight bookings from Canada to Florida plunged more than 70% for the spring and summer. That is not a dip, that is a free fall. With that drop, Florida is now staring at a $2.1 billion shortfall in spending and 14,000 tourism-related jobs on the line. Miami, Orlando, and even beach towns like Clearwater and Naples are all feeling it. Resorts are offering steep discounts just to fill rooms, and restaurants that once had lines out the door now close early. But this is not just about vacations, this is about ripple effects. When tourism shrinks, Florida's economy takes a hit in housing, hospitality, transportation, and even retail. Number 7, New York. The skyline still stuns, and the lights still shine, but look closer, and you will see something else. Quiet streets where tourists used to swarm. New York City, once the beating heart of international tourism in the United States, is starting to slip. In 2025, city officials had to revise their forecast downward. They expected 67 million visitors, instead, they now predict 64 million. That's 3 million fewer people walking into hotels, restaurants, museums, and Broadway theaters. Number 6, Hawaii. It looks like paradise from the air, turquoise water, lush mountains, golden beaches. But the closer you get, the more the cracks begin to show. Hawaii, long seen as the crown jewel of U.S. tourism, is now facing a storm it cannot surf its way out of. In 2025, visitor numbers have dropped sharply, especially from international markets like Japan and Canada, which historically made up a huge share of the state's spending base. Number 5, Arizona. From a distance, it still looks like a desert success story: sunny skies, booming cities, and endless trails drawing visitors year-round. But take a closer look, and something starts to feel off. Arizona's tourism industry, once a rising star, is beginning to flicker. In 2025, visitor spending dropped by nearly 7%, and the hit has been felt across the board, from Sedona's high-end resorts to Grand Canyon tour operators. And here's the eye-opener. International tourism is down over 10%, with Canadian travel, one of Arizona's biggest sources, taking a nosedive. The reasons are stacking up. Record heat waves have shattered summer travel, deterring even the most loyal visitors. Water restrictions and wildfire risks are growing, and airfare to the southwest is higher than ever. But there's a deeper issue here. Arizona has been rapidly expanding, betting heavily on hospitality and real estate. When tourism slows, that house of cards wobbles. Construction pauses, short-term rentals sit vacant, and restaurants, spas, and golf resorts scale back or close entirely. Even cities like Scottsdale and Phoenix are now seeing hotel bookings flatten and seasonal employment shrink. Number 4, Louisiana. The music still echoes through the streets, and the food still draws crowds, but behind the jazz and jambalaya, something is breaking. Louisiana, home to one of America's most iconic cultural destinations, is in trouble. In 2025, tourism is not just slowing, it is stalling. New Orleans, the state's crown jewel, has seen international travel dip by over 20%, and with it, the dollars that keep its economy alive are vanishing. Hotels are reporting sharp drops in occupancy, and events like Mardi Gras and Jazz Fest are seeing fewer out-of-state attendees. The French Quarter, once wall-to-wall with tourists, now has empty storefronts and shorter lines, not because the city fixed congestion, but because fewer people are showing up. And here's what makes this even more serious. Tourism in Louisiana is not just about entertainment, it is survival. This industry supports over 200,000 jobs across the state, and when those jobs disappear, the damage ripples far beyond Bourbon Street. Number 3, Missouri. From riverboats to barbecue, Missouri built its brand on experience, but now cracks are forming in the very things that brought people here in the first place. Missouri's tourism engine, especially in cities like St. Louis, Branson, and Kansas City, is stalling, and the numbers in 2025 paint a troubling picture. Visitor spending has dropped significantly in key regions, with hotel bookings down as much as 12% in some areas compared to the previous year. Branson, once a tourism powerhouse built on music shows and family attractions, has seen its audience shrink dramatically. Fewer group tours, fewer seniors, fewer dollars flowing into the heart of the Ozarks. What was once steady and dependable now feels fragile, and aging performers and shuttered theaters are becoming more common. In St. Louis, the problem is even harder to ignore. The city has struggled with a spike in crime headlines, and some travelers have taken their business elsewhere. Convention business is down, and major events have moved to safer or more profitable cities. Number 2, Illinois. Skyscrapers still scrape the sky, and the river still snakes through downtown, but behind the glossy skyline of Chicago and beyond, there's a troubling silence growing across Illinois. In 2025, Illinois is facing a tourism crisis most are not talking about. Chicago, once a magnet for global travelers, saw international tourism dip more than 14% this year. Business travel, conventions, and tourism spending all are slumping, and it is not just a slow season, it is a sharp downward curve. Why? Start with crime perception. While some statistics are improving, headlines continue to shape how visitors feel. International tourists in particular are skipping Chicago for cities with a safer image, and domestic travelers, especially families, are changing plans entirely. But zoom out, and the problem runs deeper than one city. In Springfield, Peoria, and Rockford, tourism never fully bounced back post-pandemic. Statewide attractions, historic sites, music festivals, and river cruises are struggling to regain momentum. Even the Route 66 corridor, once a nostalgic cash machine, now feels deserted in stretches. Some roadside businesses are shuttered, others are barely hanging on. Number 1, Texas. The Lone Star State, known for doing everything bigger, is suddenly shrinking where it matters most, tourism. You might picture packed rodeos, buzzing music festivals, and long lines at barbecue joints, but look closer. In 2025, some of Texas's biggest draws are showing signs of serious strain. Austin, once the crown jewel of cultural tourism, is losing visitors faster than it can count. Hotel occupancy in downtown dropped over 11% this spring alone, and local businesses tied to live music say foot traffic is thinning by the week. San Antonio, with its iconic Riverwalk, is seeing fewer tour groups. Convention bookings are falling short, and rising summer temperatures, breaking records nearly every year, are starting to scare off casual travelers who used to flock here during peak season. Then there's Houston, the oil capital that once pulled in international business travelers, now seeing flight traffic slow, fewer trade shows, and more empty lobbies. And after multiple hurricanes and power grid failures in recent years, tourists are asking, is it worth the risk? Even smaller towns like Fredericksburg and Waco are reporting fewer bookings in bed and breakfasts and wineries. Rising costs, unpredictable weather, and overcrowding in some places have left a sour aftertaste for repeat visitors. And the biggest shock? Despite all this, Texas continues to pour money into promotion while cracks in the experience grow deeper. Tourism helped build modern Texas, but if this trend keeps accelerating, it could help unravel it too. If this shocked you, imagine what's coming next. These states aren't just struggling, some are on the edge of collapse. Help us keep uncovering the truth. Hit that subscribe button, like the video, and share it with someone who needs to see what's really happening across America in 2025.